This is my patriotic story, and my name is Brooke. Here we go. Class, please stand and repeat after me, said Miss Nielsen. I groaned and stood up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. The whole class sat down and I started doing my bell work. I slumped down in my seat and pulled out mine. Why do we have to say the pledge every single day, I thought. Can't we just say it once a week? I looked up at the bell work and it said, how do we show our respect to the country? I looked out at my paper and stared at the blank space, my mind just the same. Blank. I raised my hand. Miss Nielsen walked over to me, her brown hair in a nice bun. She knelt down next to me. What do you need help with? I shrugged. I have no idea what to write for bell work. I pulled my blonde hair on my face and stared at the paper. Miss Nielsen stood up and walked around the desk. Well, what do we say every day? I racked my brain, then realized it was right in front of me the whole time. We say the Pledge of Allegiance. Miss Nielsen smiled. I knew you could figure it out. She turned to leave, but I asked, Miss Nielsen, why do we have to say the pledge? Miss Nielsen turned and smiled at me. Should I ask the class? I thought about what the other kids would say. Would they think I was dumb? Stupid? Then I thought what they would say that would help me. I nodded and Miss Nielsen stepped to the front of the class. All right, class, I have a question. That got everyone's attention. When Miss Nielsen had a question, we knew we were doing something fun. Who knows why we say the Pledge of Allegiance each day? The whole class looked at each other, waiting for someone to answer. Oh, come now. Do none of you know what the pledge is all about? The students started to whisper one another. Do you know? Why do we have to answer? Miss Nielsen hair is pretty. Now, class, since none of you know, I'll move the stuff we're supposed to do today, and the rest of class will be talking about the Pledge of Allegiance. Miss Nielsen said. She pulled down the map of the U.S. and asked, how many states are there? I shot my hand up. Brooke, Miss Nielsen said, calling on me. There are 50. Miss Nielsen grinned in a mischievous smile. Can you name them all? I shook my head. Oh, well, but who knows what these words mean? She pointed down to the Pledge of Allegiance. It was in a tiny box at the bottom of the map. The whole class shook their heads. Miss Nielsen pointed to the words, Pledge Allegiance. A boy named Robert raised his hand. Robert? It means we commit to something, like give it all we have. Miss Nielsen nodded. That's right, Robert. She pointed to the word Republic. A girl named Kiara raised her hand. Yes, it's part of the government, she replied. Miss Nielsen smiled. Very good. She pointed to the word indivisible. This time, no one raised their hand. Miss Nielsen walked over to the bookshelf and pulled out a dictionary. Ah, here it is. It means that something cannot be divided. Any thoughts how that might fit into the pledge? A boy named Devin raised his hand. Miss Nielsen called on him. It means the country cannot be divided. Miss Nielsen beamed. Yes, that is right. Good job, Devin. Devin pulled his glasses up and smiled. Now, Miss Nielsen pointed to the words liberty and justice. What about these? I raised my hand, but the rest of the class did too. How about you, Carson? Any thoughts? Carson was the kind of goth sort of kid. He was one of the boys who played stupid a lot. He pulled his long hair out of his face and looked at her. No, he said plain straight out. Miss Nielsen would not take no for an answer. Oh, Carson, I bet you know something. She pointed to the words again. Can you tell me what liberty means? Carson shrugged. I bet you could ask one of the smart people. I bet they would know. Miss Nielsen shook her head. No, Carson, I want to hear from you. He sighed and said, it means everyone is treated fairly. Miss Nielsen smiled. Almost. When she said that, I knew it was fake. No teacher should be in charge of Carson. In my opinion, he should be homeschooled. He treated other kids badly, teachers as well, and he didn't want to be at school anyway. Okay, that was a bit mean, but he treated me bad all the time. Liberty means people are free from a foreign reign. Carson rolled his eyes. That made me roll my eyes. Miss Nielsen wrote the definitions on the board. Now, class, Carson just defined justice. So now we have all the important words in the Pledge of Allegiance. Who can say it with the definitions instead of the words? I raised my hand. Miss Nielsen called on me, and I read through the whole thing. I pledge to commit to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, undividable, with no right from foreign lands and freedom for all. The whole class was silent as I went through the pledge. When I finished, Miss Nielsen smiled. She was about to say something, but the bell for recess rang. Oh, go have fun. Remember what it means, so every day when you say the pledge, you'll understand what you're saying. I stood up and walked out with all the other kids. Before I left, I turned back to Miss Nielsen to ask her something, but I saw her staring at a picture on her desk. It was a picture of someone in army camo and a huge smile on his face. I watched the tears slip down her cheek. I looked back at all the other kids filing outside and then turned back to Miss Nielsen. Miss Nielsen, I asked. She wiped a tear off her face as fast as possible. Yes, dear, she replied. I took a deep breath and asked, who was that man? Miss Nielsen turned to her desk and stared at the picture again. That's my husband. He's serving. I looked at her funny. He works in a cafeteria? Miss Nielsen smiled an amused smile. No, serving means he's serving in the army. He works in Washington, D.C. right now. He's a person who trains the soldiers. He won't be coming back for some time, so I teach you guys while I wait. Now go to recess and I'll be out in a minute. I turned to leave but stopped. I turned back and saw Miss Nielsen give a salute to the flag. I smiled and headed outside to play hopscotch. The end.